Hey, it's Natalie, and I am outside of Kadugli in South Kordofan in Sudan, and I'm leading a training here on regenerative design for small space food systems for the Norwegian Refugee Council. And we're starting today, day one of our practical training after 2 days of theory for NRC staff, the Ministry of Agriculture here in Kadugli, as well as an NGO called SOS Sahel. And we are going to be doing a demonstration site at the home of a woman called Hawa. And Hawa is amazing. She's a champion. If I were a Sudanese person living in this context, I self-identify as Hawa. Hawa has this beautiful home with so many things going on. She's super resourceful, super productive. And we're going, right now the teams are doing some community mapping. So they're looking at, various temperatures, water flows, hot areas, sunset, sunrise, wind direction, resource areas, challenge areas, high risk areas, erosion, flood, acutely dry areas, areas of resources. So they're all broken into 4 groups right now, and they all have fun names in Arabic for their teams. But I just wanted to do a quick little tour while they're doing that of Hawa's place. There's just so much food already growing in this space. So a lot of them are annuals. So we're going to try to help perennialize and bring some longer term evergreen stability to her home production for household nutrition and even market. But I love that these massive mega pumpkins are draping over this structure here. She does have goats and tons of biomass. I mean, this place is easy in terms of resources. I did also just want to show the importance of seed saving. I mean, I'm so tired of just trying to scream from the hilltops about the importance of not giving vulnerable people or any people seeds that are specifically engineered or bred to not reproduce and multiply and be adapted locally. So here Hawa's got some beans, she's got sorghum. One thing that's incredibly popular here throughout Sudan and Ethiopia and South Sudan and the whole region is what they call kerkere, which is hibiscus or jamaica, depending on where you're from. So it's used as a tea, but the leaves are actually really delectable and amazing. In Myanmar, they make all kinds of dishes out of the bitter leaves that look like this. So this is the kerkere, the hibiscus plant. So those red buds are harvested to turn into a tea. But these leaves are sour and delicious, and I'm gonna make some goat soup or mudfish soup tonight. Because I can, and I'm gonna add those leaves to have a nice sourness. We've got some volunteer tomatoes here, volunteer tomatoes all over the fence lines as well. So Hawa's also growing sorghum back behind all around the house. She's got G-nuts, ground nuts, or also peanuts. This is lubia, which is a bean, climbing bean. There's plenty of okra here. And they use it in different ways. They eat it fresh, but they also dry and powder it as a thickening agent for a local dish called tagliya, which is like a meat kind of ragu sauce, if you will, that they eat with asida, which is a firm porridge made of wheat or sorghum or millet. She's got so much stuff going on. Hold on, there's tons of animal manure, baby goats, love baby goats. Sorghum seeds hanging, saving seeds. Look at this beautiful garden with butterflies going on, okra being dried, more sorghum hanging here. This is probably what she'll eat. And then I'm sure this is the seed saving. So drying here, seeds on the bed. Lots of flowers everywhere, including some marigold, which is a pest repellent, so we can definitely take seeds of that if we have any which are ready. She may also have seeds and use that in the garden. Here's some of the hand tools we're using. We use these burlap sacks, which are locally made here they're made of sisal, but they can also be made of jute. Jute is the plant of morochia or kudra that they eat here. Look at beautiful pollinator people flowers, more butterflies, roosters and chickens, maize being saved here. So here, there's quite a bit of okra growing still, and hibiscus, kerkade. We also have amaranth here, but people don't actually use this as a food here, which is really unfortunate because it grows abundantly. Here it's viewed as a weed. You can see it's growing everywhere in and among all the other crops. Then she also has sesame, simsim, which is obviously very, very popular in Sudan and throughout the whole of the region. I'm in Sudan. This is not South Sudan. A lot of people are making comments on Facebook posts or social media. I'm not in South Sudan. I'm in Sudan. It used to be one country. Now it's not. This is the northern part of what used to be the whole of Sudan. And there's cucumbers. And then we've brought a bunch of tree seedlings that we're going to be planting to make a little mini food forest preparation around her compound, and a banana circle for wastewater. Here's some of the team. They're still discussing the mapping of the area. So they're mapping inside her homestead here and the area around the homestead. And we're really looking at water coming off of the road. There's a main highway. There's also another smaller road. So we're heading into the dry season. So things are being harvested, dried, and saved. But if this were not the dry season, and if it weren't for the fact that she has sorghum all around the entire house outside of the farm and homestead, I would suggest that we take the design work and the installation of the garden into a sponge farm level. But right now we're going to focus on what I'm calling a sponge homestead, and how we can bring food forestry, biointensive garden, year-round gardening, more perennials, and a lot of different, add to the great diversity that she already has. This is sort of the sump of the site here, so this is where a lot of the growing is already happening. So we're definitely going to try to boost her production, and we're not going to plant everything out because she is a bit stretched on water. Near that far tree, that tree, that one, there's a hafir, like a surface level water retention dam, and she will be able to bring water back here. But Hawa's also, she's a little bit older, and we don't want to stress her. We would love to eventually, have a situation where she has a rain-fed system that is viable year-round, right? So if we were to, really be able to follow up and follow through on the site to ensure that she has a very well-mulched, self-seeding, self-mulching food forest that can support annuals ribboning throughout the trees and perennials, then she can definitely have a year-round food system, adding enough mulches, enough sponge to capture the water when it does come, and it rains significantly here. Then we could retain enough moisture security in the soil and create healthy, living, breathable, vital soils that would be able to support life throughout, especially with perennials, because you've got the biomass, the shade, and the evapotranspiration into the soils, the feeding those deep bacterial gels that retain water, sequester carbon. I mean, it's all very simple actually. But anyway, just wanted to spend this time while they're mapping to do a quick tour before we get started on any design work, and just show the riches and abundance. And there's a lot of wealth here, and all the ingredients, for sure, the ingredients of resilience and abundance are all here. There's animal manures, there's carbonaceous material, there's nitrogenous, there's different types of manures. We've got chicken. Now, the one challenge here is that we are not going to be able to fence around the garden, so that is a major risk. Little baby goats and chickens that want to come and dig up our seeds in the garden bed, and all of that. So definitely I really want to stress that wherever, whenever possible, we've got to be able to protect these systems from little animals and big animals. But the reason that we're doing it inside her homestead and not outside is because there are nomadic communities that are, entering into sort of clashes and tension with homesteads here. And we are in a situation of conflict and displacement here, and a bit of collision of different types of communities and tribes, and there's political things going on, there's economic instability, so there is a lot of vulnerability across the board. So anyway, we're gonna try to establish a small-scale food system for her family nutrition and something for market. And yeah, and she's a complete champion. She's super active, so I have all the faith in the world that she's gonna do everything she can to build on whatever we do here. And we are here with 10 other households as well from the community, and they are going to be working side by side with us in the baking sun. It is completely hot and miserable here in terms of the conditions to be digging in, but luckily the soils are not too rocky or compacted, so we won't have too much of a hard time digging here. But it's not easy to try to keep 30 people active and digging all day, every day, day after day. So but once they start to see the pattern emerge in the garden that we're going to design, they'll really start to understand what we're doing and why and how. And then we want to support them with going back to their homesteads, which are also in the same community, and start to replicate the principles of design into their homes. So the teams are already starting to draw out their maps of the homestead, and then they're going to present those. We've got 4 teams that will all present, and then from there we're going to look at resources and do some sponge demo, and then come back tomorrow and start with constructing A-frames and learning how to use those and understanding contour and water flow. So that's it. See you.